What is up, everyone? Welcome to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald, and this is your weekly dose of whatever the hell just happened. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Been a Week. Coming in a little hot today, okay? It's been a minute since I've done a rant or since I've been like this fucking annoyed. And this is probably going to get me in trouble because I'm sure what I'm about to say is going to offend someone or piss someone off. But I have two companies on my shit list right now. The first one is AT&T. AT&T can suck my dick. So here's the deal. I ordered the new iPhone, right? Usually I upgrade to every new iPhone just because whatever. I didn't get, what was the last one? The 16? I never got that one. So I had a 15. The battery was going. It's time to get a new one, whatever. So I ordered the 17. When I ordered it, during the checkout, they try to sell you on all the shit. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy this case, whatever. Well, the case came and it didn't have the MagSafe, whatever the shit is. Because at night when I charge my phone, it magnets to this charger thing next to my bed. So it didn't have that. So every night I'm having to take the phone out of the case to charge it. I mean, ridiculous, right? So I order a correct case and I'm like, I'll just return this case. But it was like a $45 case. So I was like, well, I'll just return the stupid thing. I go on the AT&T app, which, by the way, for being like a tech company and with communications and all the things, the AT&T app is the worst, slowest, most dysfunctional app out there. Like, who invented this shit? It is horrible. So I go on there, I have to find my order, and it says, click here to start return. Great. Click to start return. And it goes, to start your return, bring your item to an in-store, blah, 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 any certified AT&T fucking dealer. Okay. So I bring it in to the local AT&T store here in Granbury, and I walk in and I'm very happy at this point. I said, hey, I just need to return this case. It doesn't really work with what I need. And the girl goes, okay. And she's going through and she needs like my name and my phone number and my driver's license for some reason. And then she goes, oh, the account just booted me out. So we have to do it all again, which again, I think this is tied to their piece of shit app. So we go through the process again and she goes, I don't see your order in here. And I go, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, here's a phone case. It says AT&T on it. You guys sent it to me. Like, it literally is branded. It's an AT&T case. Like, where else would I have gotten it? So she goes, do you have like your receipt? I go, I have like the proof that I ordered it here in this AT&T app, but no, I don't have a receipt. I ordered it online. What are you talking about? And so she's like, well, I have to go talk to the manager. I said, okay. So she goes in the back and then she comes back out. She goes, the manager needs a like receipt number or your order number. And I said, okay. So we go in the app. I find the order number. Then I bring it back, or she brings it back to her and she goes, yeah, that number apparently isn't in our system. I said, what do you mean it's on your system? I can show you right here on my app, everything. It's in my account. Here's the thing. Here's the order number here. And she goes, the manager. I go, well, the manager should maybe fucking come out here. And she goes, yeah, I know. That's your answer? Yeah, I know. So then she goes, you need to call this 1-800 number to return it. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes. Okay. All right. I go, by the way, you might want to tell your manager she should work on her managing skills because they're terrible. And then I left. So then I call this AT&T number and I don't know, like there's something. So when I called the number, first of all, I'm not against this. I'm not opposed to this. It was just interesting. The AT&T robot that, the press 1 for this, press 5 for this to get to somewhere, it had a lisp, which was an interesting choice. I mean, I'm not trying to be against it or make fun of that. I just thought it was very interesting when the AT&T is like, press 5 and you have subscribed to our privacy policies. And I was like, what? Okay. All right. Whatever. So I get a hold of someone and or I start telling it because you can't get a hold of a real person. And it's like, what do you want to do? And I said, return a product. So then it's like, which device do you want to return? And I'm like, I don't want to return a device. I want to return a product, which is a phone case. So then I'm like, representative, you do the whole thing. And they're like, okay, we'll call you back when it's your turn. Okay, great. So I get the call back. And then the lady goes, hi, what's the name on your account? And I'm like, Ben McDonald. And then she goes, and what's your password? And I was like, password? I guessed something. And luckily it was right. I don't remember. Why would I need a password for a phone account service? I don't know. Whatever. Somehow I got the password right. And then she's like, she probably couldn't hear me, but she was like, your name is she kept calling me Mr. Sunny. I'm like, I don't know who Mr. Sunny is, but okay. And then she's like, if we get disconnected, which phone number, or can you provide a phone number for a callback number? I go, Yeah. The number on the account, the number you give me service to. That is this a real question? So we're getting through the whole thing. Then here's my thing. When you call a customer service representative, and this is where I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not trying to be whatever. When they barely understand English and there's such a communication like barrier here, it's really fucking annoying and it's really frustrating because I'm like speaking clearly and slowly and I can tell she's in some crazy call center because you can hear there's like people screaming in the background. Like there are so many people, like I'm like, what? Huh? And I'm trying to give her I needed my receipt number, which is 75 fucking numbers long. So I'm giving her that. And then we're getting through this whole process and I don't know how we got onto a communication level where we could understand each other, but she emailed me a return label. And then she's like, okay, so now we need to text you a confirmation code. I'm like, what? And then she kept muting me because whenever I could hear the people in the background, it would go fucking so loud and then it would go silent and then it would go so loud and silent. And I'm like, I literally, she got me to the point where I screamed at her and I'm not really a screamer. But I was like, I'm very fucking busy. Like, I gotta go. What do you mean? She goes, well, we can text you or email you. And I'm like, text or email me what? She's like, just a rundown of what we've done today. You called because you wanted to return a phone case I'm like, are we really having to recap this whole 14-minute fucking phone call? I'm like, I gotta go. Goodbye. Like the label's already in my email. What are we talking about? Game over. Done. Adios. Goodbye. I mean, it's enough it really can drive you like to be crabby. I was like, what the fuck? It's crazy. And the fact that I couldn't go return it at the store and the fact that you can't just online hit like return and they just send you a label. Like, what is this calling in bullshit? I don't know. AT&T's got to figure their shit out. My next one on the chopping block is Starbucks. And if you know me, I love my pumpkin cream cold brew. I look forward to this time of year. I don't know what it is with these baristas, but they're not fucking getting it right. So, and I gotta also say, some of these baristas are getting weirder and fucking weirder. I went to the drive-thru and I pull up and the guy goes, hello, welcome to Starbucks. My name is Steven. What's your name? And I'm like, Ben. He goes, what was that? I didn't get it. I go, Ben. And he goes, one more time. I go, does it matter what my fucking name is? How about we get to the order? We're not friends. We're not going to communicate after this. You don't need to know my fucking name. How about what can I get you? Like, what? Shut up. So then I'm like, can I get a pumpkin cream cold brew with extra cold foam? That's my order. It's very simple. Pumpkin cream cold brew, extra cold foam. Now, I have been posting some of these on my story because I've been grading them. It is such a simple order. I don't work as a barista. I've never worked at a Starbucks. I can tell you how this shit's made. You get a cup, you put ice in it, you put cold brew up to a certain line, and then you pour the cold foam on top. Boom, done. It is, but when you get the drink, it should be two different colors. You should see the dark coffee at the bottom, and you should see the lighter pumpkin cream at the top. Okay, so and then you have the option to you'll mix it. You'll slowly start seeing the cream kind of like seeping down, like that. That's on you. I've been getting it, and it's like this like creamy tan color, and I'm like, what is this? And they go, we mixed it together. Well, that defeats the whole fucking purpose. I want to be able to take the sip of the foam on top. Don't be mixing that together. The one lady, I go, this doesn't look right. And she goes, I can assure you it's what you ordered. It's just mixed together. And I'm like, well, I can assure you I'm going to need you to fucking remake it because I want two different colors. I will decide when that shit's getting mixed. Like these people, the customer service out there is fucking ridiculous. And then here's my next thing. Starbucks a few years ago, they reinvented their lid, which has like a sippy cup type thing, right? So you can just sip the cup and the whole point of it was to start using less straws because straws more plastic. You know, we've all seen the National Geographic with the sea turtle with the straw in its eye. So why is it when they go to hand me the cold brew, they're always giving me a straw? Also, if I put a straw in there, how am I going to taste the cold foam? That straw goes straight to the bottom. I don't need a straw. Also, it's like a sippy cup situation. There's no need for a fucking straw. I know this is like total first world problems. And I know there's so many bigger issues in the world. And I know I sound like an entitled little bitch. God, it's annoying. So those are the companies that are on my shit list right now. AT&T and Starbucks. I just need AT&T to work on every other company has better apps. Every startup, anyone can make an app. So how is a company as big as AT&T's app suck so bad? You need to work on your returns. You need to work on your customer service representative. You need to work on your employees and your management for sure. And Starbucks, Just make the drink correctly. Just put the coffee in, pour the stuff on there, call it a day. No straw required. All right, I know that was a lot of bitching. It's a lot of ranting, maybe a little unnecessary, but it is what it is. Let's get into this episode. All right, everyone. This week, we're just going to do a quick little story time. We're going to keep it short because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really tired and I just got home last night and I feel like I've been drunk since Thursday, but boy, was it a wild week. AJ and I both were supposed to be in New York and he was there for work and we were going for a friend's 40th. And I got invited to this like super, private exclusive event for Wicked. And if you know me, I am obsessed with Wicked and all things Wicked. So I was not going to turn down that opportunity. So I ended up going to LA for a few days and then met up with AJ in New York. But the travel situation that we had to deal with to get to these places was it was a little wild. I was flying to LA. AJ's flying to New York. My flight was at 6. His was at 6:15. I was at gate 13. He was at gate 14. That all was smooth, right? I take my seat, I'm getting ready. I'm having my pre-takeoff cocktail. And the guy sitting next to me, he just looks at me and he goes, "I'm freaking out." And I said, oh, okay. What's going on? He goes, "I mean, do you know how many people are getting on this plane?" And I'm like, well, they've been announcing the flight's oversold and they're trying to get people to give up their seats. So, when you walked on the plane, you saw how many seats there were. I don't know. I'm going to guess 200 people maybe on this plane. I don't know. And he goes, "Oh, I'm just really claustrophobic and I'm just freaking out." And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. So then he calls his wife probably, how long does it take to board an airplane? Like 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes for everyone to get on. In that 45 minutes, he called his wife probably 6 times. And he'd be like, "We're still sitting here. We're just still sitting here." And I'm like, if you're this stressed, maybe get on the plane last. Like, I don't wait to get on. I don't know. And so he keeps calling his wife, and I'm sure his wife's like, "Yeah, I fucking get it. I don't care, but whatever." So as we're like taking off, like we're getting ready to go, making a phone call, like as we're like speeding it down the runway. I'm like, first of all, I don't think you're supposed to do that. But second of all, I'm pretty sure you're going to lose service in like 2 seconds. Like we're going up. And so we get up in the air and he's just like, I'm just really claustrophobic. He goes, "I might have to ask you to turn my vent on and off multiple times throughout this flight." And I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay." And then he goes, "Do you want to see something? It's probably going to freak you out." And I was like, "Not really. No, I don't." He pulls out his backpack and he opens it. And I'm like, what the hell is this man going to pull out of his backpack? Opens up his backpack. And all of a sudden he starts pulling out all these like mini fans that it's like a fan with a clip on it. So he's like going to clip it to like the tray table and the back seat and his hand or his armrest. And he's got all these fans all over him. And I'm like, wow. I said, "You're just like Beyonce." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, Beyonce loves to have fans on her and you have a bunch of fans." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I guess Beyonce and I are just exactly the same." I was like, all right. He's like, if I get too hot, my claustrophobia sets in. So I can't get too hot. And I'm like, okay. So I just put my little earbuds in. I'm like, I'm going to watch my movie. All of a sudden I'm, middle of my movie and he taps me on the shoulder and I take my earbuds out and I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you know how much longer this flight is?" And I'm like, no, I don't work for Delta. And it's on your screen in front of you. But so he couldn't find it. So I like pull up my app and I'm like looking on the thing and I'm clicking it. And I'm like, we have 34 minutes left. And he's like, "All right, we got this." And I'm like, what do you mean we got this? Of course we got this. We've been in the air for 2.5 hours. Like, what do you expect? And then he's like, "Yeah." He goes, I've done this. We land, we make it. And he goes, I've been doing this flight every month for the last 8 years. I go, "You've been doing this flight every month for the last 8 years and you freaking out this much? Like, you'd think you'd be used to it by now." So I get to LA, check into my hotel. I go see some friends. I go to lunch. I see like go to some of my favorite old restaurants. I go to this Wicked event, this Wicked event was insane. Like this I can't wait. It's actually going to air on TV. So you guys are going to be able to see it. I don't want to give too much away, but like the whole cast was there. They sang their hearts out. It was incredible. And you guys are really going to, I think it comes out like November 6th, maybe. So then did the event. The next day I went and had a meeting with Stephanie Gerard, actually the photographer that's been on this podcast. Met with her, then met up with some friends. We went out to dinner, went to Craig's. We actually ended up back out to dinner with some of the housewives, which it seems like I always end up with them somehow. And then the next day we had to fly to New York. So we get on the plane. same thing. I sit down in my seat. I'm having my pre-takeoff cocktail. And the guy next to me starts like, people aren't even seated yet. And this man is probably, I mean, he's like 6'5", super like long, curly, kind of reddish, grayish hair, and like with a full beard. And he looks like someone that's for sure going to go camping. And he starts taking his shoes off. And I go, what the fuck? And then he proceeds to put his feet not only on the back of the seat, but he's like putting his toes into the seat back pocket. And I'm like, what kind of Neanderthal thinks that this is like appropriate? Like, who the fuck raised you and thinks it's okay to like why do people continue to take your shoes off on an aircraft? Leave your shoes on. And then the flight attendants coming over and they're like, confirming whatever, if you pre-ordered your meal or whatever meal you want. So they're like, Mr. McDonald, you pre-ordered the pasta? And I'm like, yeah. And then they look at the guy and he's like, well, I'm vegan. And the lady's like, okay. And he's like, so there's no meat in here, is there? And they're this and that. And he's like, having a freak out. And the lady's like, yeah, this is a vegan option. It's a vegetarian and vegan option. And the dude was freaking out. And I'm like, he had to make it very known to the whole plane that he was vegan. So we land in New York, have another wild night out. Then we go to our friend's 40th birthday, which was just wild. And then AJ has this whole idea. We wake up the next morning and when you're done with the vacation, like it's time to get home. And like our flight was later in the day and it was like, we're done. Like the party's over. So AJ goes, all right, I'm going to switch us to an earlier flight. And I said, great, whatever. I don't care. But because AJ and I traveled separately, I was in LA, he was there. Our reservations were linked together, but we weren't technically on the same reservation. So when AJ switched our flights to the earlier time, I got a confirmed seat on the earlier flight. Somehow AJ got put on standby and did not get a confirmed seat. So then we get to the airport, which way earlier than we normally would, because we're like, we need to deal with this. And they're like, I have a confirmed seat on the flight. AJ does not. And AJ's like, well, our reservations are together. We need to travel together. And they're like, well, there's no room for you on this flight. It's oversold. Delta told us that they have different tickets. And if you ever buy the cheap main ticket, like the cheapest option, you don't actually have a confirmed seat on the plane. So the flight was oversold by 8 people. So they're like, there's 8 people are not getting on this flight today. So we're like, you purposely sell more tickets than you have available. Like, I don't know how that makes sense. And then they're offering people like $500 to take a different flight. So I'm like, this just it's not making sense. But you know what? Whatever. Do what you got to do. So they're like, you're not getting on this earlier flight. So then we're like, okay, fine. Put me back on our original flight. And they're like, ooh, no can do. They're like, that flight is also sold out and we've already sold your seat. And they also, for some reason, AJ was like in the front of the plane and they moved him to the back, like the last seat in the plane. And AJ's like, why would you downgrade me? I was like in first class and you put me in the back of the as far back as you can go. And so then they'd already sold that seat. So after like 2 hours of going back and forth, I had to get on my flight without AJ. And then AJ had to get on a separate flight. And then when I got to the airport in Dallas, I drove the car home because I was like, I'm not going to sit at the airport and wait for 3 hours. And then he had to Uber home. And it was just a complete shit show. That's the moral of the story. It was a shit show. But we had a great time. I had a blast in LA. I had a blast in New York. And we did make it back in one piece. So that was good. So that, my friends, is all I have for you. I wanted to keep it short and sweet this week. Just make it a quick little episode. And we'll be back next week with even more. So for everyone out there listening, I will see you next Tuesday.